the locations in the system. And in today's session, we'll discuss about other other organization types in Workday. So far we discussed about an organization type called supervisory organization and another one called location and location hierarchies. So let's discuss about how to create other organizations. So let's see how to create an entity. Like when I say entity, just company. So company is nothing but it's a legal entity that we create in the Workday system with the licenses, right? Like whenever we are establishing a company, we need to get it registered, right? So that's what we call it as company, and we will be creating it in Workday using the task called create company. Task is very simple again to create a company. So create company is the task I'll be using. So using this task, I'll be creating it. Again, I just fill in the details very similar to the way we have created a supervisory organization, and it is very similar to the location hierarchy that we have created. Again, I'm going to give the reorganization value here, which is maybe services reorganization. Okay. Now here I'll give AB services LLC or some company, whatever. I'll give the company name with whatever the name we have registered, right? In that particular wherever we are starting our establishment, right? So I'll be creating the company. I'll give ABC Services Limited, otherwise, and we can still maintain code. If you want to maintain any unique coding for your company, you can maintain it or you can leave it blank. If you select this include code in the name, again it is very similar to the SUPOG where we have selected the code. The include code in the name will display the code in addition to the name of the company, like it has happened in the SUPOG. And subtype I'm going to give whatever the values available. Company is the subtype I'm using. Again, very similar to SUPOG. So subtype does not hold any significance in terms of configurations, but yes, they'll just have the subtypes maintained for each organization type in Workday. And I'll give visibility as everyone, like who can see this company information. So I'll give it as everyone for now. And so whenever I have an establishment, like whenever I have created a company, I must specify the currency in which I'm going to make the payments for my worker, right? So how we are dealing, like are you paying in USD or in INR or AUD, Australian dollar, Singapore dollar, whatever company. So whichever country you are starting your company, you will maintain that respect to currency. Let us assume if I'm establishing my company in USA, I'll give it as US dollars. Okay, so now I'll click on OK. So suppose what will be the case if I'm having my company started, or I have operations provided across multiple countries. Like I have one company in USA, one in Australia, one in UK, one in India, one in Sri Lanka, like in multiple countries. So do we need to create multiple entities? So in general, what is the scenarios the companies they do follow? So have you ever heard of any entity having multiple company names across different countries? If you take, say for example, the familiar ones like Mercer, IBM, Deloitte, Infosys, TCS, they do create. So on top of it, like we'll be knowing the brand name, right? But every company, every organization, they'll create multiple companies. Why do they have to create multiple companies? Do we really need to create multiple companies?
For the legal issues and stuff, maybe.
I mean, it could be tax implications. It could be a lot of different reasons.
Absolutely right. So for legal related concerns, for tax liabilities, right? Every country will give some subsidiaries or some benefits if they if we start any company in their country, they'll give us some benefits to us, right? So again, from country to country, we might get some tax exemptions given based on the country's legal laws and all, right? Again, every country have its own legal regulations that have to be abide, have to follow. So that's where we need to create multiple companies for a given establishment. And again, so just now when we see it, right? So we have given the currency as well while creating the company. So based on the location or the country where we are creating the companies, so I'll be giving the currency code accordingly. If the company is being done in India, I'll give INR as the currency. If it is from Australia, like I'll give AUD as the currency. Because again, company is something that is tagged to the legal liabilities, right? Like the taxation purposes. So where your tax related aspects will be tagged to company, not on superg, not on location, not on anything else, but on company, the tax aspects will get tagged to it. So based on that, if you we have to provide the currency, and so that the based on the turnover, the income, revenue, like there are some finance related aspects, right? So based on that, they will be calculating how much tax they have to pay, or they'll be get exempted, based on the company, and then the currency they'll get exemptions accordingly. So that's where we'll end up creating multiple companies in the system. So let me create one more company here. I'll use create company as a task. So again, I'll give AB services reorg. Click on OK. And now just to identify it uniquely, I'm going to give a different naming convention for this. AB Services UK Limited. I'm just adding the country name here just for my understanding purpose. And I'll give subtype as company here. And the visibility everyone. The currency, see whatever the currency, it is GBP or EU or euros, whatever. So as per the requester details, we will be giving the currency values here. Okay, like this. So and I'll click on OK. So similarly, we'll create multiple companies as and when there is a request raised by the business, we'll create companies in the system. Now, if I would like to address the companies together, similar to the way I have grouped, right? We have grouped the locations in previous session, right? So why we are grouping? So to derive some eligibilities or to derive some, condition rules, we will be grouping the location. Similar to that, I might do for all the countries that are in APAC zone, right? Or all the companies that are available in that are in UK, or all the zones, sorry, all the countries, companies, my bad, all the companies that are there in the US, right? So if you want to group those things, so we can create company hierarchy. Now, say for example, if I have a company named AB Services India Limited, and I have AB Services Singapore Limited. So like this, I have multiple companies created for different countries. Okay, I'm just giving the naming conventions very simple here, but again, it depends upon in real-time cases. You will have those naming conventions as per your organizations. Okay. Now, if you want to group all these three, what I can do, I can create a company hierarchy, right? So let us say I'll put it as AB Services, APAC companies, like this. So I'll create a company hierarchy, and I will be grouping all these companies into one hierarchy. Again, company hierarchy is different from company. These are companies I'm going to create. Similarly, you will have all your UK related companies under one hierarchy, US related companies under one hierarchy. Likewise, you can, again, it depends upon your organization's decision how you would like to group your organizations, your companies. You can either do by zones, or you can either do by the line of businesses that you're operating. Say for example, some companies do have multiple businesses they were into, right? Their line of businesses, like they, let us take a company, they are into automobile industry, they're into electronics industry, they're into, life sciences, they're into pharma related, whatever. So if they have multiple company types, like a line of different line of businesses, so, or we can call it as a function. So based on the function, the hierarchy creations can go as per the organization's need. But yes, we just need to understand how to create company hierarchy and group companies into that respective hierarchy. Now let's quickly create a company hierarchy. To what is the task to use company hierarchy? It is create company hierarchy. It's very simple, right? To remember the task names in Workday. We don't have to remember. We can use just regular English to create company, cost center, region, location, SUPOC, everything. It's create followed by the organization type I'm going to specify. So now I'll give AB services, say APAC companies. I'm just putting it as CH for our understanding. It's company hierarchy. Suffix with ch to make it to understand it as a company hierarchy, and I'm going to give the visibility as everyone. See, I'm not going to give currency here because company hierarchy is not the legal entity that I'm creating. It is just for grouping my companies into one hierarchy to represent the set of people, like all the workers from APAC companies. If I want to represent that way, so that is where this hierarchy will be helpful for me. But again, so what will get tagged to the worker is a company, but automatically the worker rolls up to the company hierarchy. So directly the worker will be tagged on the company will be tagged to the company hierarchy, so that the worker also belongs to the company hierarchy list. Okay, so this is how we'll create company hierarchies. Now let us see how can I add my company into this company hierarchy. So I'll go to related actions and I'll navigate to reorganization, and I'll have an option called assign included organizations. So the moment I select, it will ask me to give the list of values here. So okay, I haven't created any company with India. Let me just try AB Services India. I'm giving the reorganization date here. I have created for UK and US. Um, okay, let's create one for India, and then I'll add it under APAC company hierarchies, because just for example, also if I show this, it doesn't make sense. So let me create one company for India, then we'll proceed. Okay, let me create one other company quickly. Create company. Okay. 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 I'll give AB Services India Limited. I'll give the subtype. I'll give visibility as everyone. The currency I'm going to give it as INR here. And I'll click on OK. Now I'll go to the hierarchy and I'll be adding my company under the respective hierarchy. So I'll open the company hierarchy that I have created. AB Services, APAC companies. Yeah. Now I'll go to related actions. Related actions, again reorganization, and I'll give assign included organizations here. In the reorganization, I'm going to give my reorganization that I have created. And OK. Yeah, I'll give. I'm giving the company name here, right? So likewise, if I have multiple companies, I'll add all the companies together in this hierarchy. And now this company hierarchy will have this India as the one of the included organizations. Similarly, if you create one more like Singapore Limited and China Limited, just for examples, so you can add those company names. Again, the labeling then of the company names can be differed from the actual values, but yeah, just for example, I'm giving this India Limited, China Limited, Japan Limited for our understanding purpose. Okay, so likewise, I'll create multiple companies and I'll group them into company hierarchies. Right, similar to that, we'll be creating cost centers. Cost center is another type of organization in Workday. Sorry, before I move on to cost centers, are we clear with company creation and company hierarchy creation? Any questions? Like why do we create multiple companies, or why do we create company hierarchy? So again, you can have any number of hierarchies on top of this again. Any questions?
No, I think it's pretty clear.
Great.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Again, cost center is an organization type that will be used to track the expense related aspects in my system, right? So in Workday HCM, supervisory organization is the primary organization type for me. It's like the heart of Workday HCM. But for finance applications, cost center is that main organization type, right? But in Workday, we'll just maintain it on every worker level to track this the expenses. Again, in some companies, we will create the cost centers directly in Workday, and in some organizations, they do create their cost centers, to track their expenses and everything. They'll get created in their finance applications. They'll flow to Workday, like how they'll flow to Workday. So they'll get interfaced through integrations. So they'll create some integrations from finance applications to HCM applications like Workday application. And the cost centers that are created in finance application will move to Workday HCM application. Or in some organization, they do manually create the cost centers in the system. Again, let us see how to create a cost center in Workday. The task will be create cost center. So create cost center is the task I'll be using, and I'll give the details of the cost center. Now, again, as usual, I need to provide the reorganization here. Click on OK. I'll give AB Services Executive Management Cost Center. Okay, I'm just giving some random name here, and the subtype is Cost Center, and visibility is everyone. Okay, and here there is one additional field we'll observe on a cost center page restricted to companies. So when we're creating cost centers to track the expenses, so if you have any sort of limitations that you do not want to use this across all the companies, there are some specific set of companies where I can use. So you can put in those combinations. Suppose if I'm tagging any other worker, so for example, if I'm giving it for AB Services India company, right? If I'm hiring any worker into some other company like US Limited or UK Limited or China Limited, something else, this cost center cannot be tagged to that worker. So that's how we can restrict this cost center can be used for the workers, okay, who are being hired into this particular company. So if you don't give any value here, this cost center can be used across all the companies. Okay, so that's the difference. Like we can have this limitation used if required. If you want your cost centers to be used in a specific set of companies only, you can mention it in the restricted to companies field here. Okay, otherwise the creation of cost center is very simple. You'll give the name of the cost center and then specify. Okay, it'll ask for work tax actually. So let me select there is something called default. As per this tenant, it was set up as a default one. But yeah, just select some existing funds from this list and select one of the values. That's fine. Just giving it as operating fund. Okay, I'll click on OK. So my cost center will get created. So once the cost center is created, again, we will see like how these cost centers, companies, locations will be tagged on a worker profile little later. So first we are focusing on creating cost center. So I use create cost center as a task. Again, if you have multiple cost centers created, again, for every team level, you will have cost centers, tower level, you will have cost centers, right? In a project level, you will have cost centers, location wise, you will have cost centers, or function wise, you'll have cost centers. So in every system, we'll end up creating multiple cost centers. So again, those cost centers can be grouped into hierarchies. Again, you can create cost center hierarchies, and you can and you can tag your cost centers to the respective hierarchy. Again, what is the task to create cost center hierarchy? Again, it is create cost center hierarchy. See, this is the task name. I used to create a cost center in Workday. So using this task name, I'll create my cost center, AB services. And here I'll give AB services cost center hierarchies. I'm creating one cost center hierarchy. I'll give the subtype as per the subtypes available. I'll select cost center here, or cost center CCH you can select. That's still fine, no problem with it. You can give the visibility as everyone. Everyone, and I'll click on OK. Again, now once the cost center hierarchies are created, you can tag your cost centers to your cost center hierarchy. So how you will do? Again, you go to related actions of the cost center hierarchy, reorganization, and you will have an option to add your cost centers there. See, SN included organizations, and you can tag your cost center that you have already created. Click on OK. Like this. So I'll click on OK, and all the cost centers will be like whatever you would like to tag it under the respective hierarchy, you will include it in the respective cost center hierarchies that we have created. And you can create a hierarchy for hierarchy. Like you can create another cost center hierarchy on top of cost center hierarchies that we have created. It depends upon again the business justification of business need. So we'll create the cost center hierarchies. See again, whatever we are doing will be given to you in the form of requirement document in detail for your from your business. Okay. So we'll have cost center hierarchies. Now, so let's create region. So we have another organization type in Workday called region. So we have created something similar to that, right? Location. So we have created location hierarchies. Now I have something called region in Workday. So can someone guess what is the difference between location and region? So if you see the general meaning of it, both depicts the geographical space, right? So then why do we create
Which is maybe
regions?
bigger.
Bigger, not
One
It could
spread.
be
mm,
time zone, different
time zones, not
continent, or
exactly. Yeah, but yeah, thank you so much for giving the attempt. So location is again both again. Location and region depicts the geographical space for me in Workday, but there is slight difference we have to understand. Location is the geographical space from where the worker is working from. He is located or she is located, right? Region is something the area of responsibility of the worker, like to which geographical space he or she is supporting. Example, I might be sitting in Delhi in India, right? My work location, my office is in Delhi, right? But I might be supporting the users from United States, or I might be supporting the users or the clients from UK, or I might be supporting the clients from Australia. So my area of responsibility is the region. My work location, my physical work address is my location. Am I clear?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why do we need these kind of classifications? Maybe some situations business might ask you. So I need the report, right? How many people are working from India? That means in that case I need to fetch the report based on the location of the worker, right? Now I would like to know how many people are supporting UK, the clients from UK, or how many workers are supporting the clients from United States. So in that case, I will try to pull the report based on the region. So I can have workers supporting United States, right? So those workers, they can be from India, they can be from Singapore, they can be from Australia, they can be from United States also, they can be from UK also. So you might have people spread across the globe, but they might be supporting to a specific geographical space, and that will be categorized as region in Workday. And again, from where the worker is actually based out of, or from where he or she is working, right? That is their location in Workday. Again, the tasks to create region are very simple. Again, like it's create region. So create region is the task I will be using. So I'll just give the reorganization value here, and then I'll create the region. So this can be one of the interview questions as well. The difference between location and region. Please do remember, location is generally our work address location. Work location, we use the terminology, right? What is a work location? And the other thing is like the region is the area of your responsibility, like to which area you are supporting to. Again, not every company maintains region for themselves. It depends upon their ways of working. But yeah, if they want any such details to be maintained, then we can have region creation available in Workday. And I'm just putting it as REG for my understanding purpose. Visibility is everyone. So this is how we'll create region. Again, if I have India as a location hierarchy, that is different. If I have India as a region, that is different. So both have their own unique significance. Again, similarly, you can create multiple regions and you can create region hierarchies. This is again very, very similar to the way we have created location hierarchies, cost center hierarchies, company hierarchies, right? So we'll use the task create region hierarchy, and when we can create region hierarchies, like you can have one region hierarchy for APAC, US and LATAM and EAME, and on top of them again you can have one more hierarchy called global. You can create it. It depends upon how you segregate. Your business will segregate. So those kind of segregations we really don't have to crack our heads, because the business decisions will be taken by the uh, zonal heads and the high level people. So we as a consultant will support on getting the things solutionized in the system. Okay, so like this we have different types of organizations in Workday, like starting from superorg, supervisory organization, and we can create subordinates, we can create standalone superorgs and assign superiors, right? And then we can create locations. So to group locations into one entity, we are creating location hierarchies. Again, I can create location hierarchies to a location hierarchy. Again, then we have seen creating a company and company hierarchies in today's session, and then cost center and cost center hierarchies, and region hierarchies. So these are the different types of organizations that I have in Workday, that we have in Workday, right? So we need to understand the significance of each organization type. In SUPOG, again, when you call organization type, right? Like when you call an organization, it groups workers actually, if you see. So if you open any region, you will be able to see all the workers who are tagged to that region. If you open any supervisory organization, you will see all the workers who are tagged to a supervisory organization, to a manager. If you open any location, you will see all the workers which are tagged, who are tagged to a specific location. If you open cost center, right? If 10 workers have been given to a cost center, if you open, you will be able to see those workers together. So organization is nothing but it is grouping workers into one common point. Either they belong to one company, they belong to one supervisory organization, one team, they belong to one location, they may belong to one cost center, they may belong to one company. We'll see that later, like once we start creating more positions, and then we do hires, and then we'll see how these organization types, all these organizations will be tagged to the worker. So we will be able to open those we'll open those organizations and see whether the workers are tagged under the right organization types. Okay, so please do create some example hierarchies for your practice, and create all the organization types that we have discussed so far. And we have one more organization type in Workday, like custom organizations. I'll explain like what is custom organizations little later, but for now we'll proceed with the delivered organization types like SUPOG, location, cost center, company, and region. Okay, so in next session I'll be explaining about how the organizations will be tagged to a worker while performing the hire transaction. So far so far in the sessions we have discussed how to hire a worker in a simple process, right? So in that process of doing the hire, I don't have any organizations assigned in that case, right? Let me quickly show the workers that we have hired. AB services. If you go to these worker profiles, like I have hired Chris Harris yesterday, so I'm opening this worker's profile, and I'll go to overview tab here. I'll have something called organization. So when I click on organizations, I can only see the supervisory organization and maybe location. I can see I have tagged this worker to only the supervisory organization, so that I can see only one organization here. So in next session we'll see uh, how to add the cost center, company, region to the workers profile. Okay, any questions so far?
No, Ashish, no.
Thank you. Stop the recording.